You know that feeling when you're reading a manhwa and you can just tell the main character is holding back? Everyone around them is losing their minds trying to figure out how strong this person actually is, and the protagonist is just standing there, calm, unbothered. And you're sitting there like, just destroy everyone and go home. Today we're talking about 7 manhwa where the protagonist is so powerful they literally have to suppress it. And the reasons why? Sometimes tragic, sometimes funny, sometimes completely unhinged. Let's get into it. Starting at number 7, Hyan from Unholy Blood. So, Hyan is a half-vampire, last living pureblood after her parents were killed, and she has been hiding what she is for basically her entire life. Not because she's weak, but because the moment anyone finds out, her entire existence becomes a target. She just wants to live quietly. She's patient, careful, and then her adoptive father gets murdered by vampires. And that patience? Gone. What follows is honestly one of the most satisfying power reveals in manhwa, because you've spent so long watching her hold back that when she finally stops, it's everything. But the suppression part is what makes her interesting. She's not hiding because she's afraid of others. She's hiding to protect the people around her, which is honestly kind of heartbreaking when you think about it. Number 6, Kim Ki-bong from Limit Breaker. So the setup here is wild. The world falls into chaos, monsters appear everywhere, and Kim Ki-bong gets sucked into another dimension. Fine, except he stays there for 3,000 years. 3,000 years. And he can't die. So he just trains for 3,000 years straight. Maxes out literally everything. And then he comes back to Earth, where only 10 years have passed. And all he wants is to find his family and live a normal life. Which, okay, completely understandable after 3 millennia of fighting. The problem is that when you are that strong, normal life is basically impossible. People keep pushing, monsters keep appearing, and Kim Ki-bong has to constantly hold himself back just to avoid accidentally destroying everything around him. The gap between what he could do and what he chooses to do is honestly kind of funny. And also kind of sad. Number 5, Lee Do-jun from My Dad Is Too Strong. This one is a slightly different flavor and I love it. So Do-jun starts as a completely unremarkable civil servant. Talentless, disorganized, a nobody. And then he gets into an accident, gets transported to a brutal martial arts world, and spends what feels like an eternity surviving, getting stronger, and eventually becoming the single most powerful being in existence. And then he comes back to his original body, as a civil servant. He just wants a peaceful life, but reality has other plans. He ends up taking in his orphaned niece, who is a college student, and she asks him to officially act as her father to protect her and help her through school. Suddenly, this man, who could erase entire armies, is more worried about fumbling through grocery shopping and parent-teacher vibes than fighting monsters. It's not dramatic suppression for the sake of a secret mission. It's just a very tired, very powerful man who really wants a quiet life and a happy home, but keeps getting dragged into chaos. Number 4, Seth Kang from Boss in School. And this one is different from everything else on the list because the reason he's suppressing his power is a promise to his mother. That's it. Seth Kang is a natural-born fighter. His abilities surpass everyone around him by a massive margin, and he made a promise not to fight. So when he starts getting bullied, and he does get bullied badly, he just takes it because of a promise. Which sounds simple, but watching it play out is actually kind of painful. He's standing there getting pushed around and and he knows, that he could end this in about 4 seconds flat. And he just doesn't. Until his father dies and leaves him a letter telling him to stop being a weakling. And then, yeah, the chains come off. And it's everything you were waiting for. Number 3, Kim Woo-jin from Kill the Hero. So the context here is, Woo-jin was betrayed and killed by the leader of his own guild. The man the entire world called a hero and a savior. Woo-jin is the only person who knows the truth, that this hero is actually planning to rule the world. He gets sent back in time and now he has one goal, destroy him. And to do that, he has to hide. Everything. His power, his intentions, his knowledge of the future. Because if anyone figures out what he's actually capable of, the plan falls apart. So Woojin walks around playing a completely different character. Cold, calculating, deliberately underestimating himself, while methodically dismantling everyone who stands between him and his target. It's not suppression out of fear or kindness, it's suppression as a weapon. Which is, honestly, a completely different energy from everything else on this list, and it works so well. Number 2. Park Jin-sung from My School Life Pretending to be a Worthless Person. Okay, so this one has a twist that makes it genuinely unlike anything else. Park Jin-sung appears to have an F-rank soul, the lowest possible ranking, in a world where your soul literally determines your value as a person. He gets looked down on, treated like nothing, suffers through it for years. And then you find out the truth. His Adeya, the power of his soul, is actually S-rank. The highest tier, except it's not a cool power. It's not fire or strength or speed. It's absolute killing intent. The pure essence of the desire to kill. And Jin-sung, who is a genuinely kind person, is horrified by this. He doesn't hide his power to manipulate people or protect himself. He hides it because he's terrified of what it says about who he is. He would rather be seen as worthless than be known as someone whose soul is built around killing. That's a completely different kind of suppression. And it makes him one of the most emotionally interesting protagonists on this list. And number 1, Rai from Noblesse. Look, if you know, you know. Rai is the noblesse, an ancient noble who has been asleep for 820 years, wakes up in modern Korea, and enrolls in a high school because his loyal servant Frankenstein thinks it'll help him adjust. And Rai, who is so far beyond every other being in this story that his fights are almost peaceful, just wants to live quietly. He wants to go to school. He wants to experience what a normal life feels like. He spent 820 years in isolation doing his duty as the hidden protector of nobles, and for once, he just wants to sit in a classroom and figure out what ramen is. The suppression isn't strategic, it's not revenge, it's not fear, it's just a being of incomprehensible power choosing warmth over dominance, choosing to protect something small and ordinary because it matters to him. And when something threatens that, when someone threatens the people he's quietly decided to care about, the gap between what he was pretending to be and what he actually is becomes impossible to ignore. Rai at number 1. No competition. 7 Manhwa. 7 protagonists who could end everything in seconds, and chose not to. For now. If you think someone deserved a spot on this list, or if you've got a manhwa where the suppression hits different, comments are open. Come fight me. Subscribe to 0 Chapter Left.